Welcome to the class 7 of Medicinal Chemistry 1, Unit 2, Drugs Acting on Autonomic Nervous System, Part 2. In the previous class, we discussed about autonomic nervous system, different types of autonomic nervous system, that is parasympathetic and sympathetic. And we learned about some neurotransmitters, that how they are going to be synthesized, where it is stored, and how they are metabolized. That is sympathetic nervous system. In that we learned about noradrenaline and adrenaline neurotransmitters. Now when these neurotransmitters synthesized and whenever it is required, it is released from the storage vesicle and bind to the particular receptors. These receptors are present in the synapse. That receptors are called as adrenergic receptors or adreno receptors, because adrenaline will bind to these sites, hence these sites or receptors are called as adrenergic receptors. They are membrane bound G protein coupled receptors, means they are second messengers, that is activated by cyclic AMP. These adrenoreceptors are classified into two types, that is alpha adrenoreceptors and beta adrenoreceptors. Alpha adrenoreceptors are further divided into two types, alpha 1 adrenoreceptors and alpha 2 adrenoreceptors. First we will see the alpha 1 adrenergic receptor, where it is located and what are the actions. Alpha adrenoreceptors are present in vascular smooth muscles, prostate glands, exocrine glands, and in the heart tissue. If adrenaline binds or noradrenaline binds to the alpha 1 receptors, it stimulates the signal transduction, means cyclic AMP will be activated and messages will pass us. If the signal transduction is occurs, then movement of the calcium from the endoplasmic stores to the intracellular fluid, means calcium ions will be stored in the endoplasmic reticulum. This activation causes the transfer of endoplasmic store to the intracellular fluid. Now in the intracellular fluid, concentration of calcium will be increases. Due to this increase, phospholipase, that is G protein, will be activated and brings the hydrolysis of phospholipase C and causes the release of calcium from intracellular fluid. If the concentration of calcium is more in the intracellular fluid, then it increases the contraction and increase contraction of the smooth muscle and increases the secretion of glands, that is gastric acid secretion will be increases, salivary secretion will be increases, etc. And in heart, the force of contraction is also increases, that is called as positive ionotropy. The selective agonist for alpha 1 adrenoreceptor is phenylephrine and the antagonist is prazosin. Alpha 2 receptors present in the postsynaptic CNS neuron in platelets and some of the vascular smooth muscle and fat cells. Stimulation of alpha 2 receptors means when adrenaline or noradrenaline bind to the alpha 2 receptors, it causes the decrease in the activation of cyclic AMP and also decreases the activation of calcium L-type channels, that is long-lasting channels, and increases DAG, diacylglycerol, and IP3, that is inositol triphosphate. It decreases the insulin secretion, means it causes hyperglycemia, and produces platelet aggregation, and also causes vascular smooth muscle concentration. The selective agonist for alpha 2 adrenoreceptor is clonidine, that is sympathomimetic, means same action, that is agonist. And opposite effect, reverse the effect, is antagonist is yohimbine. Coming to the beta adrenergic receptors, this beta adrenergic receptor activation mediated through cyclic AMP. Adrenaline or noradrenaline bind to the beta receptors. It activates the adenyl cyclase enzyme through G protein complex, where ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, is broken into cyclic AMP. And in the heart, the troponin and phospholamban is phosphorylated and result in the increases of the interaction with calcium in the myofilament. Means the intracellular calcium will be increased in the heart, that is in the myofilament, which leads to the increase in force of contraction, that is positive ionotropy. Beta adrenoreceptors are further subdivided into three main classes, that is beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3. Beta 1 and beta 2 receptors are most important. So beta 1 is present in the heart where it shows positive chronotropic effect and positive ionotropic effect, that is rate and force of contraction will be increases, that is beta 1, and it's also found in the juxtaglomerular cells of kidney and increases the release of renin secretion. The beta 2 adrenoreceptors are present in the bronchi and smooth muscles. So in the bronchi, it causes bronchodilator, means dilation. And in the vascular smooth muscle, it brings vasodilation effect and it relaxes the smooth muscle contraction. They also found in the liver and promotes glycogenolysis, means breakdown of glycogen into individual glucose. Beta 3 is located in the adipose tissue. Stimulation to this causes lipolysis, means help in lipid metabolism. Lipid is going to be broken down into individual fatty acid and glycerol. In the previous slides, you have seen what are adrenoreceptors, types of adrenoreceptors, and where it is located, and if the neurotransmitter is bind to that receptor, what will be the actions. Now some drugs are there which bind to that particular receptors and shows the action produced by these neurotransmitters like norepinephrine and epinephrine. If it binds to the alpha 1, alpha 2 or beta 1, beta 2 receptors, the similar action is produced by some drugs. So those drugs which shows the similar effect or similar action, or those drugs which shows the agonist effect or mimic the action of sympathetic system are called sympathomimetic drugs or adrenergic drugs. Now these sympathomimetic drugs are grouped into three classes based on their mode of action, that is directly acting and indirectly acting and agents having mixed mechanism. Directly acting means they directly bind like epinephrine or norepinephrine. If it is bind directly to the adrenoreceptor and shows its action. Some are there which is indirectly acting, means they will stimulate and causes the release of norepinephrine. Means they won't bind directly, but they will increases or stimulated the increase to release the secretion of acetylcholine and they will bind. Third one is the mixed mechanism, means they can do or show their effect directly or indirectly. They can bind directly to the receptor or they may cause us the release of norepinephrine to shows the pharmacological action. In this table we can see what are how many receptors are there, adrenoreceptors, that is alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, and which tissue they are going to be present, their location, and what are the action they will produce. And in this slide we can see the agonist and antagonist of alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1 and beta 2. Thank you very much.